Thank you so much for coming in today. I'd like to start off by first introducing myself. My name is Tamara, and I am a counselor in training. Before we get started, there are just a couple of things that I'd like to go over with you. First, our receptionist, Anne, is out in front for you for any needs you may have. So if you need to reschedule an appointment, maybe need to be pointed to the bathroom or the water cooler, she's out in front for you.
Okay.
I'd also like to go over some confidentiality issues and some of its limits, if that's okay as well. Awesome. So, confidentiality means that whatever we talk about in this room stays between us in this room. But, like I said, there are a couple of limits to that as well. If you ever tell me that you've inflicted any self-harm, planning to inflict any self-harm, or harm to others, I am legally mandated to report that to the proper people. Also, I am legally mandated to report if you've experienced any sort of child abuse, elderly abuse, disabled abuse, or any abuse from anyone from the protected class. Like I said, I'm legally mandated to report that as well, even if it doesn't directly inflict you.
Okay.
Also, if I am court-ordered by subpoena, then I will have to report to that as well. But it'll only be in terms of what that court-ordered subpoena is. So everything else that you talk with me about is completely null and voided.
Okay.
And lastly, for insurance purposes, I will have to report some progress reports and things like that, but none of the intimate details of what you speak with me in this room. And also, my supervisor is held to confidentiality as well. So even though they will be watching this video, whatever is said in our session is completely between all of us.
Okay.
Everything good? Any questions?
No.
Awesome. So what brings you in today?
I don't know. I've just been very anxious lately. I guess just issues with school, work, my social life. When I was younger, I was diagnosed with ADHD, and individuals with ADHD usually also come with very high anxiety. It's kind of like getting a new puppy. Like, yeah, it's cute, but it's also very anxious. I never really did well in school when I was younger because of my ADHD, and now I'm in a graduate program and I don't really know how to feel. Part of me is having a hard time figuring out whether or not I can actually handle the work, or if I don't know how to describe it. If I can actually do the work, or if I'm just, or if I just got lucky based on how I did when I was younger. I like to tell myself that when I was younger, I didn't really care, which is true. I didn't like school when I was younger. I didn't like to read. I didn't like to. The only thing I liked doing was playing sports and being active. That was the ADHD. So I try to tell myself that I am very smart. I can handle the work. Just in high school and part of when I first started college, I just didn't like school, which is a big thing with people with ADHD. We have difficulty doing things we don't like to do, whereas neurotypical people can, okay, I don't like to do this, but I can see the utility in it, so I'm going to do it. People with ADHD have to be interested. And I guess with my social life, the ADHD is now, it's controlled. It's through many years I learned how to acclimate it into ways that help me instead of hinder me. But I still have a little bit of difficulty with my social life. I find it difficult to connect with people. I guess because of the way I think, the way I look at things. I'm more analytical. I'm less. I like to look at numerous sides of things instead of. I don't know how to describe it. I just interpret things differently than other people do. And people usually think I'm weird. So, and in terms of education, like I said, I've been doing very well in school. I've been getting good grades, but part of me feels like that's temporary. I don't know.
So I'm gonna try and restate a little bit of what you just told me. So it seems like ADHD, your ADHD has impacted your life significantly, not only with your education, but also your social life as well. And you had mentioned a little bit about work in the beginning too. And it's been a little bit difficult for you to really find your place in a sense with your education now that you're back in school and finding the interest all over again with being active and in school. Even though you are doing well, which is great, you still think it's kind of something that's a little bit temporary and it's making you a little bit anxious from my understanding. And even in your social life, even though you've combated ways to handle your ADHD through your social life, there is still times where it's impacting you in the wrong way. Am I getting that right? So let's step back a little bit and just talk a little bit more about the educational aspect. You did say that you're now back in school, you're in a grad program, you've been doing really good in terms of your grades, but then you also said that you felt that this was something that's just a little bit temporary right now. What makes you feel that way?
I don't know. When I'm looking at my schedule, it seems that the semesters to come, not that they're going to be harder because the classes I have now are challenging. They're what they should be for graduate level, but I worry that it's going to get a lot more demanding. That maybe this is, in a sense, not as challenging because I'm still in my first semester. I guess just based on previous experience, I'm a little worried that my previous performance that wasn't to my liking was because of my ability, not because of my lack of interest or lack of effort. I'm really hoping it's the lack of effort instead of the lack of ability.
So, explain to me a little bit more your feeling of lack of ability, in a sense. You said you felt like it's more not that you don't have the ability, but it's the effort behind it. So school obviously isn't something that you're freshly doing now. What have you done before to make it a bigger effort for you to concentrate and do the work that you had to do for school?
You mean before my graduate program?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really do much of anything. I actually wanted to drop out when I was in undergrad. I was going through a difficult time. My grandfather got sick, and he was and he was really the father figure in my life. Um, so I didn't know what I wanted to do with school, so I figured I might as well become a trucker like he was. But when he got sick, he wanted me to live a better life than he did and complete my education. So I kind of felt like I owed it to him for everything he's done for me to at least complete my undergraduate education. So I didn't really do anything special. I did okay in undergrad, but I didn't really do anything special. I guess maybe I just paid attention a little more, but not 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 really anything that would change anything.
Do you feel like your grandfather is still something that, let's say, motivates you to continue on with doing school?
Well, yeah, he I would say so. It's I just like I kind of want him to be proud of me. So um, like I said, he was my father figure, and fathers are very important for young men. Not to say that they're not important for their daughters, they are, but there's just something spiritual about a bond between a father and his son. Um, and I didn't really have that with my father, so I kind of do feel like um, like I almost owe it to my grandfather for being there for me when he didn't have to be. And the least I could do is, since he's helped the family so many times, um, and he's helped me out, whether it was financially, whether it was emotionally, whatever I needed. I kind of feel like that's probably, at least now, the only way to pay him back.
That's very nice and sweet of you that you're doing this in a sense, kind of like a debt to your grandfather. And I'm sorry about your loss because I know that could definitely take a toll on someone. And I commend you for still continuing to do school and then continue on to a grad program. Um, but you did mention a couple of things about your father um, and having a father figure be there and present for you. Um, if you don't mind, can you elaborate on that just a little more?
Well, I don't really know how to elaborate on that. I did grow up with a father, but he just wasn't as there, as emotionally there as my grandfather was. He was busy working a lot. Um, so it was just more of a connection with my grandfather.
So, going back to you and your experience with your ADHD, and in terms of how it's like with your education, um, you're still feeling like there's a disconnect between you really being able to succeed and continue to have the potential that you want to have in terms of being motivated in your classes, in your schoolwork. And you had also said that the semester right now is something that is coming a little bit easy to you, but it could potentially and will definitely become a little bit more overbearing later in time. But how does that also impact you socially?
Not that the semester it comes easier to me. I just feel that it's a little. may not be mm, as aside from a few classes, as mentally demanding as future classes will be, just based on the courses. Um, and I worry a little bit about that. But in terms of socially, I've never really had a big social life. I don't like to go to parties. I don't like. I'm more of an introvert. I don't like. I get very anxious when I'm out. I don't mind going out with one or two friends, but like I have to have a rapport with them. I don't really like meeting new people. Um, I don't really like going out, and if my friend brings somebody that I've never met, I get a little anxious. Um, I guess I just prefer to study more and focus on my work now instead of having a social life, and um, that's I hear a lot about self care is important, but that is my type of self care, putting um, as much as I possibly can when I'm not working into schoolwork. It makes me feel a little more secure. It makes me feel like at least I'm doing something.
So, from what you're saying, um, your schoolwork seems to be something that really keeps you at bay, and what you hold to a very high standard within yourself. Um, you did mention how you know that self-care is something that's important for you, but your kind of self-care is more you putting yourself in your schoolwork than you really being out and social and things like that.
Yes.
Because it is a little bit difficult for you to be in social settings. Not to physically be there, but more so the people around you that are there. Um, let's talk a little bit more about when you are in a new social setting. Even with school, that's kind of like a new social setting for you.
Right.
I would say, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, how has it been for you being in this new educational setting and social setting at the same time? Something that you've mentioned is more like a safe space for you in terms of education, but then also giving you a little bit of anxiety because there's new people.
Well, I guess I haven't really experienced that much anxiety because with school everybody's there for the same reason. Um, like nobody's really going to class and worrying about the person, like what the person's doing next to them. So we kind of all share the same goal, so that kind of ameliorates the anxiety a little bit. But like I'm not expected to act any certain way except appropriately, of course. I just don't really like going out with new people because I have to interact with them. I have to play the game of how to connect with them, how to talk to them. Whereas in school, you could go to class, like a little bit of small talk, but then focus on what the teacher's saying, focus on reading, focus on homework. There are topics to focus on. I'm not put on the spot to think of someone that I don't even know.
So it's more so that that level of uncertainty, you don't know exactly what to say, what to do. There is no specific structure.
I don't
in
like
uncertainty. Yeah, in a social setting, it's a lot of uncertainty, and there's no like I said, structure in terms of what you have to talk about and things like that. Have you ever thought about ways to combat that before?
Not really, because I've never really felt the desire to. I've never really felt the need to do that. The friends that I make, I'm usually fine with them.
I just like to let you know that we just have about 10 minutes left in our session, but definitely continue.
I've never really felt the need to address that because I may not have a lot of friends, but the ones I do have, I'm able to have a good time with. Um, I like to keep to myself more so. I've never really felt the need. I could go to the mall on my own. I could go out on my own. I've never really felt the need to go up to a person and talk to them.
Right.
So I've never really felt the need to work on that.
Okay. So, from what I'm hearing, there really, like you just said, is no need for you to work on more so accumulating more friends. You're a very much so self-sufficient person, and you have your close knit of friends that you like and that you do enjoy yourself with. But still, there are those times where you find yourself being anxious, of course.
I guess I would like to, though sometimes there are things my friends are doing, and there are some things my friends are doing, and I would like to go do it too, but when there's more people going, I lose the desire to go. I guess I would like to work on that. I don't always have to go, but it would be nice maybe once to go. And also romantically speaking, I'm just so introverted that I would like to meet someone nice. But in order to do that, you have to talk to people. And I don't really like talking to people. But I guess that's something I could work on.
Yeah. I like that you kind of came to a point where you said you feel like you don't have anything that you need to work on to now there is something you want to work on because it is impacting something that you want, which is a romantic connection with someone, which is definitely something that a lot of people want. And it's not like you can't go ahead and have that because you are the way you are. You're, like you said, an introvert, and conversation seeking and having just isn't something that is your thing. But that is definitely something we can work on. As you can see, definitely there is a couple of differences between us. You are a male and I am a female, but I just want to let you know if there's ever a time where you feel uncomfortable or anything like that with talking with me about certain things because we can't relate in a sense, you can still bring those things up to me. I will try my best and my hardest to work with you on those things if that's okay with you. Awesome. So we talked about a lot today. Just to give a little bit of a summary, you spoke about how your ADHD has impacted your life pretty much from the beginning with your education, your drive to stay focused, and also your anxiety of your ability in your current grad school program, and how it's also impacted a little bit of your social life as well, and some information about your father and his presence in your life and everything like that. But you did also mention that there are things that you want to work on too, especially socially with building connections, specifically romantic connections. So we're gonna end for today, but would definitely like to pick up from where we left off, and and we'll start the process all over again, speaking about more so what can we do to help you feel a little bit less anxious when you're in a social setting that requires you to be a little bit more extroverted rather than, like you said, how introverted you are.
Okay.
Yeah?
Okay.
Thank you so much for coming in today, Dan. It was so nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Oh, I don't know your password.